Angelo. Angelo, wake up, buddy. Buddy. Buddy, do you know what time it is? Come on, get up.
No, what time?
We're going to be late. It's time for season 3. That's right, ladies, gentlemen. And no, we cannot have 15 more minutes. We cannot have 15 more minutes. YouTube videos are long enough. We can't delay any longer. Guys, welcome to the Super Shenanigans Variety Hour, Season 3. That's right. We're going to be doing 2 episodes every month, theoretically.
One would hope.
One would hope. Like and subscribe and watch every single one, or I'm going to consider myself a failure personally.
Yeah, Liam tends to do that. I'm totally unaffected.
Yeah.
We could just...
This guy's a stonewall
make it
right
episodes. Here. Yeah, no. Anything you say and do does not affect me.
I've still got the monkey by my head. He got comfy.
You do.
Alright, guys. We're doing a new batch of episodes. We're going to be back, and we're going to try and, just talk about more of what we like.
Yes.
Do all sorts of fun, informative, hopefully sometimes creative and entertaining episodes. Today, though, we're following up on one of our previous silly aged videos, I would describe. Silly aged.
What do you mean? I think it has fermented like a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just hits nowadays.
It just hits? Here's the thing. I don't think it aged poorly. We are talking today about the Ultimate Universe, yet again. Marvel's successful alternate universe imprint started in 2024, I think. 2024. That's when Ultimate started. So, in our previous episode, I remember bringing up concerns about the longevity of the series going past the maker. And most people seem to be under the impression that they'd kind of just move on to a new thing but keep it going. Yeah. However,
I believe I was under that impression.
I believe most.
There's gonna be.
I was a bit. I thought I was being a bit of a doomer, but unfortunately, the Ultimate Universe is going to be ending. I think April is when the last issues come out.
Yeah, that's when all of the individual lines should be coming to an end. I think the last one is
Ultimates.
Wolverine.
Ultimates and Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah. And yeah, it's going to be running alongside Ultimate Endgame, or I think Ultimate Endgame jumps off of that, or...
No, I think Endgame is starting soon. I think it might already even, be coming out in the next week or two.
Let's look. We're so well researched, gang. Gang, you're in it for the true quality of this series, my friend. Yeah, no, it's coming out in December. So
okay, that's what I said,
Endgame
right?
will be upon us soon.
Endgame will be upon us soon. In the next week or two. Hey, man, it could be.
Depends on when this video releases.
So, starting with December, the final issue of Ultimate Spider-Man will be coming out, wrapping that series up, and the rest of the Ultimate series will be wrapped up in that time, and a lot of people are wondering one thing. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. Just a big, wow.
Are you certain?
Some people are like, Marvel, don't you like money? And I think Marvel does. So let's not get that twisted.
Let's not get that twisted. So the Ultimate Universe started in 2024, will be wrapping up in 2026 after its 2-year Maker storyline. Each issue in this imprint follows the real-life monthly timeline it comes out in, so that we follow the real 2-year timeline. At the end of that timeline, the Maker gets released. The heroes have to fight him and save the universe, probably. And then they're just ending it. And people are not happy. Certainly not.
Certainly not. But I think, too, it's really interesting to see how the creators are responding to this the big ending of the Ultimate Universe. You know, the people working on these books.
It is a very online sort of discussion that, like, I think that honestly was handled pretty solidly. I think we're seeing this also, a similar thing happen on DC's end with Scott Snyder. But to begin with, at the start, Marvel announced, this was at New York Comic Con, that the Ultimate Universe would be ending. And the internet just really did not know what to think. They didn't know who was behind this decision. They didn't know what the motives were. Theories were flying all over the place. And this imprint was created by Jonathan Hickman, the architect behind the X-Men Krakoan era. And so a lot of
Secret Wars stuff,
or Secret Wars, but good this time.
New Avengers. Yep. Yeah.
And so a lot of people were wondering, you know, whose decision was this? Was this another situation of editorial meddling, like similar to Krakoa? Did Hickman propose that the line ended here? I saw many people initially having just like so many random scatterbrain theories. A lot of people either blaming Hickman or saying that he needs to like leave and go for DC.
And especially with them announcing all of the books coming to an end, people were really wondering like how these books are going to end, because they don't seem like they would have ended anytime soon. So people are like, "Oh, Hickman, like what are you doing?"
Especially
Hickman,
Hickman,
forerunner of this, running Ultimate Invasion into the Ultimate Universe starting issue, and then his entire run on Spider-Man.
It seems that by and large he has been the architect for how this has been going along, and so I think it was reasonable for a minute to like a knee-jerk reaction be like, "Hey man, what's the idea?" The thing is, Jonathan Hickman's not very online.
No, he has barely any online presence. Especially since like even before Krakoa, like I'd say post Secret Wars, like 2016ish, like he just vanishes offline, you know?
Yeah, I found like evidence that he had like a Twitter account a long time ago that doesn't run it anymore. Because I tried to find him for comment. Now, to help out with this confusion and to maybe help direct our emotions more in like a positive direction, Ultimate's writer Dennis Camp did a couple Twitter chains, at first assuring everybody that like there wasn't any bad blood behind the scenes.
Yeah,
he didn't know what he could say immediately, but he did ultimately, like, you know, try and calm down the fan base. He spanned this really more as a positive from how I read it. So if we want to pull some stuff
Same
up.
here.
Also worth noting for the hysteria stuff, why a lot of people were upset, Peach Momoko, the writer behind and artist behind Ultimate X-Men, really, Peach Momoko did everything except translate it into English.
Yeah.
Put a lot of tweets where you could tell that she definitely would be missing doing the series, and that she put a lot of heart into it.
It seemed like a very personal project for her, and her not being on the book anymore seems to have really wounded her from how she initially sent out those tweets, but she seems a little more in positive spirits now, which is nice to see. And Dennis Camp's entire Twitter thread that we're about to go over, I mean, it helps, like you said, redirect some of that ire towards Marvel editorial.
So Momoko tweeted, "Drawing comics is really tough, but when it actually comes to an end, I feel empty. It feels like one milestone in my life is over. I mean, I'm drawing X-Men, right? I feel like I've done more than enough. Thank you, everyone. It became the motivation to finish drawing. Please keep me company until the end." So you could tell that she very much is like, oh man, it's really over. And I definitely feel sad for her. And also, as a guy who has, you know, gone over this now a second time, it's definitely a bummer. It's a bummer. but I think it is worth noting what Dennis Camp said. He tweeted, thread, okay, the end of the Ultimate Universe from his perspective. It's true that Dennis Camp did not intend to end writing the Ultimates at the end of the Maker storyline, that he planned on continuing. However, he does confirm, at the minimum, that every other creator was intending on, at minimum, leaving the book.
Mm-hmm.
After their 24 issue, or with Ultimate Wolverine, I think it's getting 16.
And
16
Ultimate Wolverine
issue cap.
was
Supposed to get 12, right?
It was going to be a 12. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be a 12 issue.
So good on it for sales, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not one of them,
getting
but
it to top 15, top 30 sales every month, which is surprising. I mean, it's Wolverine, so
yeah, it like is, but also isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I know one or two people who are definitely lamenting Ultimate Wolverine. Again, it is not a title I have personally followed, but you know, if you enjoy it, God bless.
Well, yeah. God bless.
God bless you. God bless you. Got 16 issues, man. You got
Yeah.
You got a 4-issue extension.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hickman was ending his run at 24. Peach and Brian were both ending their stories. Brian was the writer on Ultimate Black Panther.
Yep.
Were ending their stories after the Maker. That was their decisions, according to him. Ultimate Wolverine, like we said, was meant to be 12, but extended to 16. Everyone else was ending where they were ending, except for Camp. Ultimately, Marvel Editorial decided that they were going to end the imprint there. Editor Will Moss was the one who broke the news to Camp, who I was not really very familiar with before.
Yeah.
I think he's doing the Avengers editorial right now.
Yeah.
So he's the one who broke the news to Camp, and that Camp confirms that they were not canceled due to it being too woke, or anything related to
everyone's.
Let's just say right now, there's a lot of reasons to suspect it got canceled, or fans suspected. A lot of fans theorized that there was some ego tripping going on, that some people were upset in Marvel higher up positions that Ultimate Spider-Man was outselling the main title because of it's a book that does what fans have been asking for like 2 decades. Or jealous that like Ultimates is doing better than Avengers, X-Men is doing better, this or the other. He confirmed that that's definitely not true, that money is money to Marvel. We're definitely not canceling it because of that.
Yeah.
It's also not because of low sales. And I think it's worth noting, specifically in regards to the Ultimates, that it is a very difficult book to have out during the current political climate.
Yeah, it's a very, in its heart of hearts, a rebellious,
left-wing, anti-fascist, revolutionary book with superheroes. I think it's understandable to be like, is that what's happening? As a matter of fact, me personally, I did wonder that. I still kind of wonder a little bit if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we will never know that.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think it's maybe a driving factor, or not the driving factor, but like a little thing that adds to like, oh, okay, like we kind of end it here because with this direction of the Ultimates, like how do we build out the rebuilding of the world after the Maker?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do we say that and make it feel fulfilling and not just be like, and it's status quo world, or
and now it's normal Marvel. Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. Or now
every
it's
book immediately tanks.
Utopian left wing universe that Marvel's trying to create, and then you're just like, oh, huh.
Which, listen, I think that there is a lot of meat being left on the bones, but I think we'll get to that. The question that I want to ask is, if Camp put forward, and it's being put forward a lot by Dan Buckley, who is, the senior editor,
publisher and president
of Marvel
Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He is definitely pushing that as a creator-driven ending. Do you see this as a corporate or a creator-driven ending?
I see it as a really solid mix of both. Like, it's definitely much more on the corporate side, I feel, that they're trying not to overstay their welcome with the run, trying to make sure that they get the safest amount of sales that they can, but also with, the creators all having supposedly planned up to 24 issues, Dennis really being the only one who wanted to continue forward afterwards. I mean, other creators even bowed out of doing, like, simultaneously running with Ultimate Endgame, like minis or one-shot issues.
Isn't Hawkeye getting canceled? Or not canceled, but ending quick?
Hawkeye only got one issue, yeah. And then, whatchamacallit, Dennis Cam wanted to pitch a ongoing Hawkeye, going into and out of Ultimate Endgame, but I think that's why we're getting the Ultimate Universe 2 years later book. So that way, all the creators that they asked to write and draw stuff can still get a piece of the pie and play around with, like Ultimate Daredevil. They just recently announced, at the time of recording, swashbuckling cosmic Daredevil.
And I do want to talk about that in a moment, because I think the reaction to it does play into what we're talking about a lot. But yeah, it's.
I think to conclude my thoughts, though, I think. Yeah, it's mostly corporate. Creators are obviously having a moment to get that final spin that they want out of the story, though, and that's why it's like a very happy ending between creator and company.
I definitely think it could be worse, and as far as I can tell, it looks like nobody has been seriously burned behind the scenes. Again, a lot of these people also might be not saying anything to keep their jobs, but Camp talks very passionate about on Twitter. I believe him when he says he hasn't been burned, and again, he's the only one who actually was intending on continuing. I have a feeling that really, while we, the fans, might be upset, it's not really as dramatic behind the scenes as maybe we want it to be. But I do also definitely think that it is a corporate decision. I don't think that it necessarily had to end here. I think that it's very clear that some of the books had no intention of ending there until recently.
I think in total it was I think it was a bad idea to end it so quickly. Maybe not a bad idea, but it just feels a little premature.
I agree.
We could have gone Ultimate Universe Year 3 as a big conclusion. So 3-act structure it.
I think that there's several important points to make on why I think it should definitely have gone at least another year with some things. Number one, DC is very competitive right now, and its absolute universe is going incredibly hard, and it shows no signs of stopping. Yeah. And I think that Marvel's leaving a lot of money on the table by just letting DC continue. I don't want to compare
my two children. I don't want to pick favorites, but unfortunately, DC is just kind of really playing it hard and fast right now with a lot of great moves, a lot of great character directions. Even outside of Absolute, the new Matt Fraction Batman's really solid.
It's very solid.
It creates a new interesting jumping on point, and a lot of the other books like DC KO has been really dope. I think Marvel's their other books, in my opinion, have been kind of floundering compared to a lot of DC's lineup.
I definitely agree, and I'm happy you said that, because I'm a DC fan and I didn't want to make it seem like just as a fan. But I think the current trajectory right now, while I don't think this is DC's best era, I think this is their strongest era for as long as I've been actively reading comic books.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe one of their middle-of-the-road eras in all time, but Marvel is not in one of their middle-of-the-road eras. I think Marvel's in a pretty bad era, comic-wise, right now.
Yeah, and not to discredit any of the creators working on those books, it's just a matter of, Marvel just doesn't...
Marvel editorial seems a little stuck.
They seem a little stuck trying to basically, like, it's been the joke ever since, Secret Wars ended, but, like, Marvel's just kind of recycling a lot of similar vibes from previous eras, trying to capture what worked, and playing off of some current trends to spice things up a bit here and there, but it feels very static. Marvel hasn't had a big change that's really made me feel like, oh, like, these creators are passionate about giving us something new.
So that's why this universe is the only thing that really feels electric coming from them right now, other than arguably, like, Fantastic Four. I've heard. I have not read, but I have heard is very good. Also by Hickman, I think?
No, the current Fantastic Four is Ryan North.
Ryan North, my fault.
And who's also writing One World Under Doom, which has been a pretty decent event. I think it's just one of those Marvel events that's just running a little too long,
All of them. I also think that there is an important thematic reason for them continuing. I think especially in regards to Ultimates. Ultimates acts very much as a guide towards revolution, or, like, exploring the idea of revolutions, where they can go wrong, the sticking points, the idealism where that can fail. And I think it would be really cool to see that same thing of how do we start a revolution to, after they successfully do it, how do you maintain it? I think that that's a very dramatic and important thing that they could explore, that they will just not be exploring.
Yeah.
And number 3, selfishly, it's because of, I think, most of these books are pretty good.
Yeah. I think, we've touched upon some of the pacing issues here that we have with the Ultimate Universe.
Do you want to get more specific?
We could definitely get more specific with some of the loose threads that we feel like are being left behind, but I work in a comic shop, so I get to see a lot of both sides of how people feel about it, because we get a lot of professionals and artists coming through that work in comics or want to work in comics. And on a creator standpoint, it's actually been a very interesting split, because on a creator standpoint, it's been like, oh, I'm glad that they're getting to end it in the way that they want to, that it's a creator-focused ending. All the things that Dan Buckley and Dennis Camp say are the case. Meanwhile, the average everyday fan are more in line with, like, the broader general opinion that we see online too, where it's like, oh, they're shooting themselves in the foot, etc., everything that we've basically just said. But it's that interesting split of, like, the creatives are just like, hey man, if
it's okay,
I'll just follow them to whatever they do next, they'll still get work.
Peach Momoko has a new Psy book coming out, Psylocke, her version of Psylocke.
From Demon Days.
Marvel Rivals.
Woohoo!
Jonathan Hickman will always have work. Dennis Camp will probably do more for Marvel, and is currently doing DC's Absolute Martian Manhunter, and, like, I think 2 or 3 indie projects right now.
Yeah, like,
he's
2
working.
Indie projects, and they just gave him, or just announced his DC Vertigo book with the artist that was on 20th Century Men with him.
Oh, what was that one?
I think it's called, like, Bleeding Hearts or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
But it seems like a cool kind of zombie story for Vertigo.
He's doing Assorted Crisis events, and I've heard that's very good. And I definitely intend on following Camp wherever he goes. He's, I think, been a standout from both the Ultimate and Absolute imprints. Kind of crazy that he's my number 1 on both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that fans in general really would rather that the imprint doesn't end, but I agree that it's fine ultimately that the creatives move on. I think most of them pretty much are ready to move on. However, I also just I do think that it's a shame in the current social climate that the Ultimates has to leave. I think that it's really a very, like, important book to have during, like, a time with, like, fascism on the rise to have like a superhero big book talk about ideas. And I'm not gonna like speak as if it's like peak revolutionary literature, but it's a great entry point into ideas of anti-fascism and like how you can make a difference in the world, even starting from like small places. Talks about things like prison reform, and like the labor conflict. Talks about issues of like exploiting immigrants for our economy. Talks about like exploiting, just the entire capitalist system. It talks about a lot of important things that I wish didn't have to go away.
Yeah, I think that's obviously the reason why people go like, oh, was this book getting silenced? But Dennis Camp even said, like, if this book was too woke, they wouldn't have let me write.
Absolutely agree.
In the first place.
Absolutely
like, it would not have been published.
It wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have seen the light of day if it was too woke to be published.
Because, Marvel's super lax with their editing.
Yeah. The laziest editors. Yeah.
And he's also encouraged a lot of people. He's seen it out in public. A lot of people using the ultimate symbol as a sticker or graffiti and placing that around, which he joked was like Marvel unapproved. But yeah, I think it's a shame to see it go. So, do you want to get now into some more specifics on how it ending affects the 3 titles that we have read?
Yeah, this is now super spoiler alert.
Super spoiler alert!
But if you want to hang around and listen to us talk about this, feel free.
Absolutely.
You're already this deep.
Spoiler alert for Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Ultimates. Up to current, which is issue 22 on Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 17 on Ultimates, and I think it was issue 20 on X-Men. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think 21.
21 maybe. So, what order did you read these in?
I went through Ultimates first, then Spider-Man, then X-Men. But I only read up to what I had in terms of X-Men, so I'm not fully caught up on that.
I'll just speak for X-Men then. I will be honest, out of all of these titles, this is the one I most believe is ending at issue 24. Yeah. I definitely do think that the story is reaching a climactic point where they're going to be dealing with the whole Children of the Atom movement. They're going to be dealing with the Sun Emperor. I feel like Armor's plot, like her story arc, her character arc is nearing her ending. Maystorm has really come into her own at this point. I feel like the Shadow King is really ramping himself up. He took out Mr. Sinister, the Maester, an issue or 2 ago. I definitely do believe that it could be ending soon. I feel like Peach Momoko definitely planned, I believe, when Camp says that she was leaving the book no matter what at issue 24.
Yes. I think with that feeling, even up to like issue 17 where I got, I was feeling like, oh, okay, like there's a lot of conclusive coming together threads of, Maystorm kind of leading her X group against the Children of the Atom.
X-Men! They're the X-Men, Angelo!
They are the X-Men.
They are the X-Men, and don't you take that away from them.
Yeah, don't you
I love this
too
book.
hard at Ultimate Wolverine, because Ultimate Wolverine's just your X-Men if you wanted more
X-Bums.
standard style X-Men.
X-Bums.
Yeah.
X-Washed. X-Washed, dude. Peach Momoko's my goat.
She is the goat. She's awesome. And her work on it's been really good. Like, her artwork's so expressive, and the watercolor style that she has is so alluring. She's just so good.
So I also am definitely super sad this book will be going. Just in light review, I think this book is excellent now that it's a lot further through and I've done a reread. Excellent. I think this is an excellent X-Men book. Excellent. I think it handles a lot of, like, the important themes of X-Men, of, like, isolation from society, bigotry, social expectations, all of that, and they remix it in such an interesting way. Shame to see it go.
Yeah, it's got a really nice like build up, you know, in the beginning, like you just feel like it's a very normal kind of like school setting. The powers start getting weirder, and then once more things start to get broken out to the public, the more you build up that X-Men style. Like there was a point in the book where I got to like issue like 10 or 11. I'm like, oh, this is getting
fights
really,
in the
like,
streets and news reports.
This is getting really X-Men.
And like really people X-Men like now. Hiding in their houses and stuff like that. I think that this is actually this is a great X-Men book. This is a book that I think my opinions changed the most on, where I was cautiously optimistic on it in the first episode. Now that it's nearly concluded, I could say I adore it. I really like this book.
It's really fun, and like it's even so alluring that like I've seen kids just kind of come in, you know, be curious by it in the shop and just like keep coming back for more Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men. Like it's just such a really fun and like grappling story.
I think it's really well paced too when you're reading it in the trade.
For sure, yeah. It's definitely one of those books that is more written for the trade, I guess, in a way. But it's so good.
No,
it's really
to
good.
everybody,
if you guys haven't checked it out,
this in batches.
Read it now.
Read it now. It's so good.
Read it now. Just read it now.
All of these are at least up to their second volume in trade paperbacks. So go to your local comic store or Books A Million or Barnes and Nobles. Spider-Man is on 3.
Spider-Man is on 3. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I think Black Panther also could be, but I'm not sure.
I think it's about to release number 3. Yeah, because Black Panther was the second book to be released in the line.
But yeah, shout out to Peach Momoko. Brilliant X-Men book. I'll defend it to the day I die. I also have now read so much more X-Men. I understand this book way better on a reread. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Next,
really good.
Do you want to talk about Spider-Man?
We'll talk about Spider-Man. Yeah. We'll leave Ultimates for last.
Ultimates is, I think, the one that's I have more like mixed. So we'll talk Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, reading up to like issue 21, I think is the issue I currently have on me. It does make me wonder, like, damn, bro, he's gonna wrap this up in 3. He's gonna wrap this up in 3 issues.
Dude, read issue 22 right after this, bro, because I read issue 22 and went, are we for real? It stars Otto Octavius in his superior Spider-Man costume, spending half the issue giving Chinese food to the main cast, and everyone going, all right, are we ready? I think we're ready. We do not have time for this!
I think Ultimate Spider-Man is just so weirdly paced because it does feel like, people say, it feels like he was writing for 50 issues. And that's the feeling I got too. Because of how slow paced some of the issues were and how many talking heads issues we got. And I think Hickman just really liked how oh god, what's his name? David Messina. Just really liked how David Messina handled those issues and went, alright, I'm gonna do 3 more of these.
So I think it's worth quoting Dan Buckley on this. When he, speaking of Hickman, he said, we were at one of those creative retreats when I was sitting next to him. We're just talking, and he's like, well, we're finishing our stories, then you could do that. And I said, no, you're done. I was by myself with John. Jonathan's looking at me and he goes, what do you mean we're done? I said, we're shutting it down. He goes, why are we shutting it down? I said, it's the end, right? Jonathan Hickman did not believe they were cutting this book off. I believe that in my heart of hearts. Because of after the first year, the pacing for this series is insane.
Yes. I think the first year, he's like, okay, I'm going to write this for 24 issues. Saw how well the sales were doing. Saw how well, like, people were receiving the story. And you could tell he was starting to have more fun kind of building out that interconnected web for Ultimate Spider-Man. And yeah, the pacing just takes like more of a crawl towards this entire second year. You're like, oh, Hickman, you're really
so
to extend this
little
out.
Happens.
Yeah, it feels like only issue 21 was the last time where I was like, oh man, okay.
So, this is, I think, a time we should discuss again the monthly pacing thing. X-Men subverted this monthly pacing issue a lot by setting half of their issues in flashback. You could tell that sometimes these books grappled with the monthly pacing issue. This book writes as if it was a weekly paced book, as if like every other week something's going on, but there's gaps of months where Peter Parker or Norman Osborn disappears from the story entirely.
Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn, I'm sorry. Peter's daughter hasn't, like, said anything since the first year, pretty much. I think the paper plot line has largely fallen into the background until this newest issue because there was no place for it. Peter had to leave and go to Arizona for a couple months.
Run. Yeah, he had to be on the run because the Kingpin knew where they were living, and et cetera, et cetera. His son got into a whole debacle, venoming out, but then we don't really see any more venoming out. There's no real payoff for that.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of these plot lines are fighting for space, and that Hickman keeps picking the most, like, mundane one to focus on per issue, unfortunately. And I think that now we have 2 issues left to wrap this up. I don't know if it's going to work out.
The big joke lately, too, has been like, oh man, I can't wait to read Ultimate Spider-Man. I hope Peter gets one panel this time. You know, like like in issue 21, him and his son literally show up in a single panel because Mr. Negative's like attacking or whatever. You know,
I think some of the character dynamic stuff works great. Harry and Peter's dynamic is fantastic. I think
it's really good.
Gwen's Mysterio stuff is interesting, though.
It's really interesting,
though choppily explained, I think.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think this book keeps juggling with too much, and going for huge stretches of time where, like, Peter and Harry were stuck in the Savage Land jungle for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And in between that, like, nothing happened. It's just very unfortunately paced. My opinion of this book is not as strong as it was the first time.
Yeah, because I think that's basically when we did our first video, was like towards the end of the first year of stuff.
It was exactly when they got... Like, it was the Christmas issue, when it was revealed that they were captured.
Yes. Yep. Oh, wow.
Which is right when it stopped being good, pretty much. And here's the thing, I still think it's good. I just don't think I don't think it's excellent.
It's just it's not as excellent as we initially thought it was.
I still hold that the first year is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think the first year is solidly written and paced, but I think the pacing has just gotten really ridiculous. Too many balls in the air, and they're all kind of coming crashing down.
Yeah. Can't juggle anymore. Sorry, Hickman.
Sorry, Hickman. And yeah,
a 100 page final issue. You're like, all right.
Also, like, everybody's Spider-Man now. Everyone's Spider-Man
now. You got Otto,
now.
you got Richard, you got Peter.
That's just too much, man.
Here's the Glenn Gorblin, you know.
Glenn Gorblin. And yeah, also I do think it's just quite the biggest thing is that this is a slow burn where it's supposed to spiral out of control. This series is supposed to feel like a train that's going faster and faster and then falls off the rails and crashes. But the thing is, we've been speeding up on this steady track for so long that there's no time now for it to get super crazy. We need that huge multi-issue payoff, and I don't think it's coming. But oh well.
Yeah. We'll see.
Ultimates.
I love this book, but it also falls into the thing of, like, having so much shit to juggle that I'm like, where the fuck is Thor for a good chunk of the first
Where the fuck is Thor for most of the book?
That's Thor and Sif for most of this book. Yeah. Because they're just off in Asgard somewhere. It's like, where'd they go?
Hey guys, can you come help out? Hey, we're busy fighting a war that you can't even comprehend, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah. That's exactly it. So much of this like build up with like that Loki issue with like the nice,
which is such a great issue.
It's so good, but then you're just like, where'd they go?
I really enjoy this book on an issue-to-issue basis. I love everything that they've put out, but I think this book heavily suffers from that we keep adding more and more characters, and then just like having to leave them. I think Human Torch hasn't really been followed up on enough.
Yeah, like the build up of like, oh, like what happened to Human Torch? You know, like what did Human Torch sacrifice himself to do for Tony? You know, like we don't really have that payoff yet. And that might come soon enough. You know, we're
so here's the thing: Ultimates has a lot longer than these other books. Ultimates is ending in April.
Like, in March or April, yeah.
So we're on issue 17 of 24. So Ultimates has more time to pay off, and also I think has done better. I don't think it's nearly as tragic as Spider-Man, the pacing.
No, yeah, for sure.
I think
there's enough that actually builds up and changes in universe for Ultimates to feel pretty good.
And I think that Ultimates also still heavily sticks to a couple of characters. Like it sticks to Doom, it sticks to Iron Lad, it sticks to like She-Hulk, America Chavez, and Hawkeye and Captain America pretty strongly. And then everyone else kind of like, you know, is left to flounder. Well, actually, like, I take America Chavez out. She also gets left to flounder.
Luke Cage has a really strong issue, you know, like a really cool whole prison reform, you know, breaking free from captivity type thing.
And then he's on cameo time.
Then he's on cameo time. And then, like, Ultimate Danny Rand, they, you know, bring him up in the Luke Cage issue. They show him meditating in another issue. And then the Shang-Chi issue, you know, Shang-Chi's like, Danny Rand, you have a connection to this place. And then I doubt that's really going to get followed up.
I doubt we've got time for that.
Yeah.
I doubt that's going anywhere.
Iron Fist. We're going to kill the Hulk, and Danny Rand's going to eat Hulk.
Yeah, I'm certain.
Iron Fist.
I'm certain.
And then obviously we brought up Thor and Sif.
They get one banger issue, and that's it. And I think that's how a lot of the characters work.
I think She-Hulk has has a good bit more time to have her next pop-off moment because of what happened in the Shang-Chi issue, killing the, you know, Hulk's, because Hulk's Iron Fist, killing Hulk's heavenly city weapons.
His immortal weapons.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm after Banner next, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So,
I think she is one of the stronger threads for sure.
Yes. The Ultimate Guardians issue was really cool, but that's getting followed up on in Ultimate Universe Year 2.
But in regards to the same discussion, Ultimate Daredevil has been introduced, and while some people are like, cool, Ultimate Daredevil, a lot of people are like, cool, can't wait to never see him again.
Yeah. Fun swashbuckling space cosmic design, and it seems like he's holding a cosmic cube in the preview that they showed, and he's playing around with panel borders, and fun to never touch that.
And it also
touch that again.
I think that this book sticks better to the premise of where Spider-Man's premise was a lot more, like I said, about like that train and having to like ramp up and then get crazy and crash. Ultimates follows the structure of trying and failing and trying again to successfully have a revolution. And I think it still follows that through in the plot very well. I think it has enough characters that continually show up that I don't think that it's, like, hugely detrimental to the book, but it is also just, like, we are leaving a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah, and especially with, like, once again, to bring up Ultimates and what they're doing in it, the Captain America and Bucky stuff with, like, the Red Skulls and all that, it's like, nice, good introduction of like a Red Skull Bucky. That's a cool idea.
Hope it shows up again.
Hope it shows up again. Yeah.
Jim Hammond, Janet Van Dyne betraying the Ultimates has to pay off. I hope.
Yeah. That's one that like is a shoe-in. Like I'm
that
sure
that one's gotta.
Very soon.
Doom and Iron Lad are gonna pay off at this point. I think it's pretty fair to say that Iron Lad's gonna become Kang for sure.
Yeah.
And that Doom is going to save the day. I think he had a really good moment with Hank Pym in the newest issue. I think this is a solid Hank Pym, but also he's another character who's just like kind of there.
Yeah, Hank's just kind of like your sweet guy.
I don't even want to be here, man.
Dude, I never even asked for these powers. Dude, I had an accident. My head hurts. My freaking head hurts, dude. Wasp is like, ugh.
But ultimately, I still think this is a very strong book. I'd still consider it my favorite of the line. I think it's that a lot of the themes presented are very powerful. Even if a lot of the characters don't get followed up upon, I think a lot of the reimaginings are very interesting, like retoolings of the characters and their themes. I think this is another must-read. Probably my favorite Avengers book ever. I don't read a lot of
easily
Avengers.
So.
I don't read a lot
easily
of it.
So. I don't read a lot of it either, so easily so for me. But I think in total too, if we're talking about the universe as a whole, there's a lot of interesting threads and bits of commentary that help shape this universe as something like that really stands on its own. Obviously, the Ultimate Universe is not a new name. This existed before.
We had a whole first Ultimate Universe for quite a long time.
And I think that old Ultimate Universe is exactly why they went, we're going to cut it at 2 years, because, you know, they don't want to risk that same spinning off the wheels again, even though some books at the end, they shaped up.
We'll talk about that in a moment, but first I want to ask you, do you think that the Ultimate Universe imprint second go-around is a success?
So far, yes. Right now, they have a really big chance of screwing it up, I think, just because of, like, the
Ultimate
reception
Endgame has to be good.
Like, Ultimate Endgame has to be good as fuck, and Dennis Camp's writing it along with Hickman.
Probably gonna be good as fuck.
So it's probably gonna be fucking goated. So I hope that this Ultimate Universe ends up aging well. You know, that we could keep going back to it and being like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, this still hits. You know, like this has strong emotional weight, and knowing where these characters end up, however it ends up in the future. Allows me to look at this universe and smile. Unless Ultimate Endgame is just
terrible
a front
and ruins
for
everything.
Why don't it be a front for a massive Marvel-wide reboot, and now everything's over?
Dude, watch this actually was a whole lie, and it's Ultimate Ultimatum 2. That'd be so sick. The Baker kills everybody and the universe reboots, and we're starting over, and it's like Danny Rand is one of the main characters because he didn't show up. He was busy meditating on the mountain. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. We just called it right here. Come back to this spot in the video. Timestamp it. Clip it.
Whatever that happens.
Clip it.
We predicted the future.
I definitely do think that the Ultimate imprint it's obviously a sales success. I think it's by and large a cultural success. I think the Ultimates is obviously like huge. It's the one I see getting mourned the most. I think that it's made a huge impact on the comic reading audience in general and has broken to a lot of people. Ultimate Spider-Man served as something that people have really wanted for a while, even if I think it doesn't quite live up to its own promise. And X-Men's a greater reimagining of X-Men. And I'm sure the other titles are probably still okay, too. I just didn't feel like reading them for this video. I'm so sorry, guys.
Ultimate Wolverine just kind of felt like more standard X-Men Wolverine stuff, just with a Russian coat of paint. There's enough interesting stuff with Colossus and Magic, and then Ultimate Black Panther started to shape up more the more I skimmed the trades and read through it.
Oh, did it get a little better?
Yeah, the pacing really figured itself out. Now it's starting to feel more tied together, but Wolverine still feels like a pretty well-rounded story, but I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not big on Wolverine.
I definitely also think it's a very interesting imprint compared like to the original Ultimate Universe imprint. I think it's funny to compare, obviously, their longevity. The original Ultimate Universe was in publishing for 15 years, up until Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars.
Yep.
I personally am a fan of the imprint, even though I do think that its quality waves between a lot of its titles and what book is being written by who at the time.
Yeah. For sure.
Ultimate Fantastic Four is an abomination. It's one of the worst things I've ever read, but I hate that book so much.
Yeah.
I didn't even read any other Fantastic Four book when I read that book, and I went, oh, this is all sorts of wrong.
This is all sorts of fucked up. This is bad.
This isn't right.
This is not the Four.
I think that they both especially excelled at adapting that era's politics and cultural climate into the art form. I'm someone who's very much a defender, especially of early Ultimate Universe stuff. I think that the original Ultimates title does have a lot of upsides to it, and also definitely is a piece of political satire for its time. But as you said earlier, we'll see how it ages, because of the Ultimates is very 2000s.
Yes, it is.
It's incredibly, painfully 2000s.
Maybe we'll look back at Ultimates 2.0 and go, damn, that's incredibly 2020s.
Yeah,
wow,
we
that's
have
really
to
the
see.
2020s.
We have to see, but I'm fond of just how I think that something like that happening isn't even necessarily a bad thing at all times. I think for Ultimates, it's both. For the original Ultimate Universe, it's both.
It is both. It's very much both.
We'll just have to see how the current Ultimate line runs, but I love it. I love how it's in conversation with the original Ultimate line. The original Ultimate line is definitely a very cynical post 9/11 America universe. It's very cynical. Its heroes often fall short of what they're trying to live up to be. While this is a very bright, optimistic story that very much prioritizes idealism and venerates it as like a worthy ideal.
Yeah, like the original Ultimate Universe, like you said, it has these heroes who are inherently very flawed and don't necessarily touch even closely to that pedestal that they try to get up to. But the new Ultimate Universe, like with the origin boxes, with people, taking on their destiny and stuff like that, taking back what was taken from them, it's that very positive, bright outlook that these heroes, no matter what universe that they're in, will always end up being heroes type thing.
Yeah, idealism in the original Ultimate Universe was not necessarily a negative trait to have, but the books were very much about questioning your idealism and making sure that you put it towards a good direction to make sure that you don't cause harm, and is definitely about, not necessarily being able to trust things just because of they look good, and is very cynical. While this universe, there's a panel in, I think it's 14, where Tony's talking to himself on how Howard Stark believed that his idealism was childish and holding him back. But how it drives him to be an agent of change that otherwise wouldn't have happened, and lacking that ability to dream for a better future and rooting yourself in cynicism is what got society to that point in the first place. I think that they're very much in conversation. I would not venerate one over the other necessarily. I think maybe that the current Ultimate Universe is maybe more consistently good.
Yes, for sure.
But, yeah. And Devil's Advocate, by the way, here's one reason why it could be good, that it's ending. So, when I originally read the Ultimate Marvel imprint, the original one, I chose it because if it had a start and an end, I could conceivably get through the whole universe. And that actions had consequences, people could stay dead, things like that could happen. Did they abuse that maybe a little bit? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But also, that's what got me into reading comic books en masse, and I think that this could definitely act as that to a new generation of people. And
it's it's definitely cleaner in that aspect too. I honestly didn't even think about it like that, but that's a very good point. It's just 2 years of material.
Manga
issues.
trained generations need a beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
This is a great way for new readers to get into the idea of comic books and to maybe take what they learned from that and apply it to reading normal mainline comic books, which is how my journey ended up happening. So
yeah, because that's really the distinct difference. You know, manga has that hard beginning, middle, end. You know, there's a focus on getting to that conclusion, but it's great training to get into the ever-going mythic format of American comic books. The myth always changes. The storytellers always change, but the characters, they stay the same.
Kind of. Until you get a legacy character or another big reboot that has a beginning,
middle, end, alternate universe thing.
But yeah, ultimately I'm still very positive on the Ultimate Marvel imprint. I'm sad to see it go, but you know, be how it do. Yeah. And Absolute DC's still out, baby, every week.
Woo! Absolute comics.
Dude, absolute comics.
Absolute comics.
All right, is there anything else you want to say, Angelo?
I don't know, good buddy. I think I'm.
You think you want to go back to sleep?
Yeah.
You want to tuck yourself back in?
I'm gonna retire for. Yeah. I'm gonna retire for the rest of the day, until our next episode.
Okay. Thank you guys very much for joining us for today's episode. We hope you've gotten yourself up to this point in the video. If you have, please like, comment, share, do whatever you want to do, and join us in another 2 weeks, hopefully. Thank you very much, and we'll see you then.
All right. Bye, everybody.